Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ubi186 back again with another video. This is going to be a video response to JackMoveJohnny. Big shout out to you, dude. He made a video response to another gamer. Really just answering a couple questions. This whole gaming tag Q&A stuff that's going around. So I'm gonna do the same thing, and then I have some specific people that I'm going to tag in this as well. You know. But anyways, let me start off by answering the question. The first question is, how old were you when you first started playing video games? When I was like 3 or 4 years old, I remember just specifically this memory of coming home from somewhere with my parents, and walking through, and we lived in a duplex, and I remember specifically seeing looking through the window and seeing someone playing a video game, through the window, and it was Mario, and I remember looking at that and being fascinated by that, and then obviously, our neighbors would bring me and my sister over, who was a year younger than me, watching, and we would watch him play Mario, and I don't remember if I ever tried it myself, 'cause it was 4 years, I was young, but I do remember watching him play it, and ever since then I was really fascinated by it. But the thing is that when I didn't really play my first video game, like at least own my own video game, till I was in third grade, when my father bought us a Super Nintendo. I remember it happened right after school one day. I don't really remember why he did it for us, because we weren't like poor or nothing like that, but we weren't making, like we weren't rich either. We were just like middle class family or whatever, and he decided, one day, I don't know if I was begging him or anything like that, but one day he brought us to a Toys R Us, and we had a choice: a Sega Genesis or a Super Nintendo, and it was me and my siblings. My brother was a little bit too small, but I had two other sisters that came with us, and it was a unanimous choice. We bought Super Nintendo. We also bought, I think it came with another Link to the Past, and the rest was history. Let me see. Question number two: what is it about video games that you love? I think it's a lot of things. I think the most important thing, at least as far as I'm concerned, is just being able to come home, from a day, either a rough day at school or a rough day at work, and just sitting down on the couch or sitting down in your chair and just playing a game for an hour or two, and just having fun. That's pretty much what it is. It's mainly, for me, it's more of a stress reliever for me, or just something to do to pass the time, or if you're like really engulfed in a game that has like like an awesome plot, or something awesome going to that you think is gonna happen, and you just can't wait to get home or get home from work to continue playing that game. It's just fun. That's what I can that's really all I can really say about that. All right, let's see, where am I at? Number three: can violent and graphic video games be a bad influence on people? No, I don't know. Like, inherently, no. Obviously, if you have someone who is mentally deranged, or not mentally of sound, or either mentally deranged, mentally ill, or have no character, it can be an influence. But anything can be an influence to anything. You know what I mean? So, and you have these companies over the years, like the NRA, who use video games as a scapegoat for their own evil plans. So, like, basically, for me, inherently, no, I don't believe it. I don't believe it can. Number four. This is the first one that kind of piqued my interest, really. PC or console? Uh, the thing is that I have dabbled in PC gaming before. This was like back then, when it was about dial up. For all you young kids out there who don't know nothing about dial up and shit like that. That's when I dabbled into PC gaming a little bit. I remember playing Quake, Was it? Yeah, it was Quake. Quake and Quake 2. A friend of mine kind of got me into it and taught me how to download the game and all the other stuff. And I remember playing, like, for those of you who own original Xboxes may know this franchise, but I actually played this game. It's a football game. I actually played this game when before the Xbox even became a thing. Is this game called NFL Fever. And I remember I bought that game one time on my PC, and it was like the graphics were amazing. Like, the graphics were absolutely amazing for its time. The gameplay wasn't that good, but the graphics were amazing in that. So I remember playing that, and I also dabbled into some pinball games also on PC. But at the end of the day, I've always been a console gamer at heart, and I think I'll always be that. Like, I wouldn't mind kind of going back to PC gaming at some point. But I've always been a console gamer. That's just how it is. I understand the benefits of PC gaming, but I also know the hardships of PC gaming, and I also know that a guy like me, I don't know if I don't know if I can deal with that hardship and stuff like that. It is easier than it was when I first started PC gaming when I was younger. But you know how it is. Sometimes you just want to go home, sit down on the couch, and just plop in a disc, and it'll work. Most of the time it'll work. So that's just how it is. Number 5. Do you watch Let's Players on YouTube, and if so, who? No, I don't watch. I don't watch Let's Plays. No, no. I like if it's a game that I'm really interested as far as the story goes, or anything that has to do with, like, anything story that has a decent story. I'm gonna be less inclined to watch their gameplay. The only real gameplay I really watch are of games that I don't have that much interest in, to see if if watching that gameplay will get me interested, or if it's something where it's just competitive, either it's fighting, shooting games, stuff like that, like The Last of Us. I don't watch I wouldn't watch Let's Plays of The Last of Us, but I would watch multiplayer gameplay of it. If you get what I'm saying. Number 6. If you watch Let's Players, do you have a favorite? Like, I already answered. No, I don't watch. I don't watch Let's Players. Number 7. What is your favorite genre of games? My favorite genre of games is fighting games. Ever since I was younger, what I mean. Like, I've always been a fan of fighting games. Remember playing Street Fighter 2 in the arcades back in the day, and I've always loved fighting games. Growing up from Street Fighter, and then I played Fatal Fury, Killer Instinct, obviously Mortal Kombat, and then as when you go to the PS1 era, you have Tekken, and I think Battle Arena Toshinden, the original Bushido Blade, Bloody War. What I mean. So I just kind of progressed from there, and fighting game has always been my favorite genre of games. I also have other favorites, like I love racing games, with Gran Turismo and stuff like that. Burnout, and like certain action games, action games that pique my interest. And if I'm interested in the story, if I'm interested in the character, like those games I'll play also, like open world, like certain open world games like GTA. Um, but as far as, just my favorite would be fighting games. Second. You popped the question back up. Okay, number 8. Are you an old school gamer, or do you like getting the newest consoles? I'm more of I would prefer to get the newest consoles. I'm not really that much of a collector, like, at all. So, it is what it is. I just like to kind of move on. Like for example, if I get my PS4, I'm not gonna necessarily sell off my PS3, but I'll definitely look to find ways to kind of move away from it as time goes on. So that's just how I am. Number 9, Nintendo or Sega. Now, I kind of answered this earlier. Now, I have used the Sega Genesis in the past when I did have my Super Nintendo. I think the Sega Genesis is a great system. It has tons of awesome games. I remember playing Columns. That was the jam right there. Road Rash. Remember playing that. Prime time football. I think it was one. Which one did I play? I think it was '95 or something like that. It was something around there. Like that. That was an awesome football game. Obviously Sonic and Kid Chameleon, all those awesome games. But at the end of the day, I was a big fan of fighting games, and if you had to pick, the console that had the best ones, it was easy. It was Super Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like it was easy, and the controller. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. This is kind of like a joke that me and my friends have come up with over the years about the Sega Genesis controller, the original one, not the one with the six, but the original one with the three buttons, not the one with the six. But they made that controller just so you can play Sonic. That's kind of like a joke that we have, but yeah. So my pick is Nintendo as far as the Super Nintendo goes. Now as far as overall, you have the Super. To me, like when between those two companies and the consoles that they've ever made, number one is the Super Nintendo. Number two would be the Dreamcast, and number three would be the Sega Genesis for me, as far as those companies go. But it is what it is. Anyways, number 10, favorite or least favorite video game character. Now, my favorite would probably be Tommy Vercetti from Vice City. The guy he was played by an actor named Ray Liotta. That awesome character. Just cool character. Worst character. Yeah, that's a tough one because I don't really hate a lot of characters. If I had to pick one, I wouldn't really say it's a character per se, but it was the voiceover, the dude, the DJ who was doing the voiceover work for SSX Tricky. I think it was the DJ, the guy who's talking while you're snowboarding. I just found that dude to be so annoying. So I mean if that counts, I'll count him, I guess. Number 11. Are you a Let's Player? And if yes, what influenced you to make a video game channel? If no, would you ever consider making one? No. I just think that even if I had all the equipment needed, it's not really something that I would pursue. Like I would love to really go back to uploading gameplay footage. Like I have, I sprinkle in some here and there. But when I had my computer, when I had my PVR and all that other stuff, I would do. It would be more consistent. I would have been more consistent with this. So, obviously when I get my PS4, it won't be that big of an issue, and I'll put up more gameplays. But as far as Let's Plays and stuff like that, no. Number 12, favorite video game soundtrack. I have a lot. But the ones that stick out most to me are the Street Fighter 2 soundtrack with the music in the background, like the Ryu, Ken, like this. Every song on there is just awesome. Tekken 2's original soundtrack was awesome. Kind of going into like the latest games. Hotline Miami 1 and 2 soundtrack is awesome. Ollie Ollie soundtrack 1 and 2 are awesome. I know there's other ones down. Well, obviously the GTA games, but most of it is all it's licensed music. But I love the way that the music is used in GTA 5 when you're not in your car, you're just doing like missions like heists and stuff like that, and the music that they have in there is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much Oh, also I totally forgot. Guacamelee. The soundtrack in that game is fucking awesome as well. Didn't want to forget that. All right, number 13. Any game recommendations? I'll put it to you like this. I'm sorry, I was interrupted there for a second. Where was I at? Number 13. Okay, gaming recommendations. Obviously, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna offer up some games that are not as high profile. Because everyone knows, you should play GTA. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I'm sure most people have played it, but if you haven't, I would try out any game that you feel like a lot of the indie games. If you're like anti-indie games or whatever. I would say just open up your mind and try at least some of those games out. Obviously you have games like Ollie Ollie 2, Guacamelee. Well, I know there's a game called Action Verge that came out. That's not my cup of tea, but I would say if I would recommend games for people to play or buy the indie games. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of people are so fixated on graphics, super impressive graphics and shit like that. And in AAA games, and listen, I'm not saying that we should be anti AAA games. I'm not saying that at all. But if you have a couple bucks to spare, at least try a game out and just try it out. You know what I mean? Because like you see a lot of great stuff coming from those guys, and that would be my gaming recommendation. Let me see where we at. Number 14. If you could be a character from any game, who would you choose and why? Um, I've always been someone who's been more. I would prefer to kind of create my own character and just kind of jump into that world. But if I had to pick one, I guess I would say Pac-Man. I mean, I really don't know why, but I've always been a fan of Pac-Man, so I guess I'll pick him. I just don't know why. Number 15, the last one. Who would you tag? Oh, okay. So I'm gonna tag 3 people individually and also 2 groups. Dave's had enough 187, Old Dirty 33, and Wolflow. You guys have been tagged. Also, anybody who's part of the Google Plus groups that I'm a part of, gaming groups that I'm a part of, Glitch and Among Gamers. If you guys have a YouTube channel, you can make a video. Or if you don't want to make a video, just put down the questions. Just hopefully watch the video first of all. First of all, watch the video. I have the questions down below, and you could comment below on the video link, and and comment on you comment, make a list your own that way or whatever. So that's it. Hoovy 186. Thank you guys for listening. I know it's been a long video, but anyways, Hoovy 186. I'm out. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hoovy 186 back again with